Hello, stock strategists, crypto connoisseurs, and technical traders. It's Stock Picks by Tim, and I'm at you again to talk about Indi. We're going to get into Valence. We're also going to touch on ChargePoint, CleanSpark, and Lucid. And I'm going to give you my thoughts moving forwards, what I've been selling, what I've been buying, and just kind of some price targets that I've got in my mind here. But let's get into it. All right, my friends. So first, I'm going to start off by just showing you my portfolio on CleanSpark. I showed you this recently, but I want to get to where I'm at currently. So yes, made about $600 unrealized. I didn't sell a single share yet, not planning on it unless we reach the mid 25s a little too fast. I'm very bullish on CleanSpark. I think this has still got a lot of room to run. That being said, while I do think it's got room to run, I do think short term it has to cool down a little bit, and this also greatly depends on where Bitcoin is going to be. Most importantly, watch it right before the market opens, during the pre-market if you can. Is it trending up? Is it trending down? Are we working down towards 60K, or are we working back towards 65, 67K? And that's what's very important. This is most likely, to me, I think it's due to cool down a little bit. We could bounce potentially off this 100-day. You'll notice here that we do it quite a few times, and that conveniently lines up with this diagonal pattern that I placed in here. And we are also getting awfully close to that $20, which is going to be a resistance in my opinion until we break it, but we're going to have to wait a little bit. We're going to have to see what it does. I think since we're getting into Friday, people aren't going to want to hold throughout the weekend. And this is just my theory. We could be due for a pullback. We have gone quite parabolic over the last, I want to say 2-3 days. So keep that in mind. If you're buying up here, just be aware that we could potentially pull back a little bit. I would definitely look for that 100-day, or if you could see it on this trend line here. So if you can see it, around like the 18, if you can catch it around 18, I think long term, it'll do you well. I think where it's at long term, it'll be all right too, but it doesn't hurt to look for a little bit of a pullback. And that's basically my thoughts on CleanSpark. Now, as a quick side note, keep an eye on Indi as well. This one is trading very, very close to the low sixes. And when it did that last time, we blasted off. We hit the 590s, blasted off, reached, I want to say close to 8, and then now we've been coming back down. But that one's an easy swing trade in my opinion, especially where it's at. Getting down in the low sixes is where it just makes sense to buy, to me at least. And that's a side note for any, but this was CleanSpark here. Now jumping into one of my favorite chip plays here, none other than Indi. INDI is the ticker symbol, and this one has just been rallying as well. We're right there around 13, hanging out at that 13 level. I think it's got to pull back a little bit as well. This market's just been insane lately. We've been on a rally on a lot of the stocks I've been talking about. In some ways it's just luck. In other ways, I think we are finding those dips and taking advantage of them. And I think also it has to do with the infrastructure bill inching forwards. And but I do see this cooling down here. I think I would definitely look for it lower. It does hit that 100-day and then dump under it to quickly bounce back up. And it's done this a few times here. This time it bounced right over it. This time it bounced from under it and went up. So I would say look for that 100-day. If you're impatient, look for the 50-day if not buying it now. I would look for it to cool down though specifically. But I think Indi honestly is due for a little bit of a pullback before we push further. And that's just my thoughts on it here for the short term. And I do think overall Friday will be a somewhat red day just overall in the market. We have to kind of cool down at some point here. Now keeping chips on subject here, we're going to be looking at Valence Semiconductor. And this one has just been doing nice as well. I don't think we're going to see the sixes, but that is our floor in my opinion. So that's the most risk you're going to take here on this one in my opinion. And we have been hanging out right around 9. So I would say look for it to pull back Friday, if not into next week. Try to hop onto this one at either the 50 or 100-day. And this is still just a brand new stock. This is all we have to go off of. It's, it started out, came down a little bit, and we just kind of been on an uptrend since. I personally took a little bit of profits off the top. I trimmed, I want to say 20% of my total position, and I took a little bit of profits. I am a little more convicted in Indi, and that's just my opinion on that. But I do like Valence, and I think it's definitely got some long-term potential here. But risk management for me, I am a little over leveraged into the chip sector and into tech. And also into kind of lower cap, so I guess that's a triple whammy here. So that's why I did want to take a little bit of profits on this one. over the next coming months, I'm really thinking that if we can have a correction for like the major large cap stocks, like the safer large cap stocks like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, McDonald's, if those can all come down at some point, I will be probably shifting some money from these high growth, more speculative stocks over to something a little bit more safe, just so I can plant my money, let it do its thing. Sorry to get a little off track there, but let's get into Lucid now. Now, this thing has just been on an absolute tear. They got news that they're getting their deliveries this weekend for a couple of their cars. I honestly think this is like a little bit of an overreaction. It just freaking rallied, and right when we started seeing red, it kept that trend pretty well, but it did bounce. And I did take a little bit of profits, or I want to say around the 35. Okay, I saw it running up. And then when I saw the red, I wasn't watching it right up here, but when I did see the red coming through, I did take a little bit of profits. Honestly, probably right about where it's at. We gapped up pretty nice, but we also gapped up previously, and it doesn't always fill its gaps, so that's something to consider. But at this point, there's a lot of people that could be potentially ready to take some profits. I would just be wary on this one. I wouldn't personally buy in now. I would look for under 30 if you can. But sometimes momentum just gets the best of us. This thing could just keep going on momentum. It is showing some strength that it didn't pull this completely back. And I think honestly tomorrow we could potentially see 33, 32. If we don't have a nice green day, I think we could come down and see 33 or 32 because that's where we started bouncing back up. And that's just my speculation here. This one's going crazy. I definitely did want to take some profits on this one. When I see something going up 30, 35, almost 40%, I mean, it's in my interest to take a little bit of profits at least and just get that money off the table and put it in my pocket and move on to the next stock for that portion of the stock. And if this does come back down more, I will consider getting that profit that I took in that position and just putting it back in and letting it ride up further. But I don't know where this is at. That valuation is getting quite steep. Now getting into the last of these stocks here, that's going to be none other than ChargePoint, CHPT, and you will see on the RSI that we are actually overbought on the 1 year, just about. We're just about overbought on the 1 year right at the top here. Overbought on the 6 month. Overbought on the 3 month. Getting to overbought on the 1 month. Working up towards overbought on the 5 day, and on the 1 day we are overbought. So I'm looking at these indicators, especially with how much this has run up. I would personally let this cool back a little bit. I would look for the low to mid 22s. Look for that 22. I think that's definitely possible for it to do that. And if it hits that 22, it'll most likely be hitting that 10-day EMA. So it might not be the worst place to buy in, but just be aware that we are overbought on the 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 1 year, and on the day. So I would be careful on this one. It did rally a little bit because of that infrastructure bill, like I said. But this has been beaten down so much. But I do see a little bit of a pullback, at least on Friday. And that's pretty much my sentiment on most stocks here. We've had a lot of running up. I think that Indi will have a green day tomorrow. It's been kind of going down lately. If you're looking for a stock to buy right now, I would closely look at Indi. And I wanted to actually add here that Volta is looking pretty good right now. It came up, went over 8 really quickly. I popped like 10%, as I like to do. It came back down under 8, and I'll be watching this one. So if it can come down a little bit Friday, I'll be looking to buy Volta as well. But I see that one easily at a $10 price target coming into maybe late December. So that's definitely still some upside there. But I would look for it to cool back just a tad because we did run up very nicely yesterday on Volta. But anyways, that's all I got for you. I figured I'd bring up Volta since it's another charging company. And yeah, still very bullish on ChargePoint, but short term, I'm a little bearish. I feel like I could see this coming down to the 23s. I could, of course, be wrong, and we could get this nice little continued bull run. But that's basically my thoughts for you. Just be careful out there, guys. Don't go all in on any of these. I think they're getting, the indicators are kind of telling you overbought for a lot of these. And chart-wise, you're starting to see the red coming in and the green fading away. So that's just a good sign there that it's time to potentially have a little cool back on Friday and then get into next week and have another nice run, hopefully. But thanks again, everybody. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next one.